Who is the most underrated actor of all time?
It's Dolph Lundgren.
Correct. Why?
Well, because of his spiky hair, and his ice-cold demeanor, and his big muscles.
Absolutely.
I must break you. The guilty will be punished.
My name is Sergeant Andrew Scott.
Come on, guys, don't do this. If I don't get breakfast, I get real grumpy. I don't think you like me grumpy. And you go in pieces, asshole.
Let's kick some ass.
Hello and welcome back to I Must Break This Podcast, the fan podcast celebrating the cinematic career of action legend Dolph Lundgren. I'm your host Sean, and on today's special interview episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with actress and producer Kim DeLonghi. But before we get to the conversation, I wanted to remind you all to please feel free to rate and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever else you go to subscribe. We always appreciate the reviews, especially those 5-star reviews. Those always help. Also, please be sure to check out the Facebook page for the show, I Must Break This Podcast. Here you can stay up to date on the show, the career of Mr. Dolph Lundgren, and other news regarding action cinema in general. So if you're not already following the page, please feel free to like it, share it, and continue being a fan and helping spread the word. Lastly, if you'd like to get in contact with me with ideas, suggestions, or thoughts on the show in general, you can take a look at the official webpage for the show, which is imustbreakthispodcast.wordpress.com. Now, on to today's conversation. Recently, I had the utmost pleasure of speaking with Kim DeLonghi. Kim is a rising actress and producer who's been moving her way up in the world of film, especially the action genre. One of her more recent projects is Castle Falls, which is currently available on video on demand, courtesy of VMI Worldwide and Shout Studios. It is also arriving on DVD and Blu-ray on December 28th. Now, there are lots of really cool and exciting things going on with this particular film that are important to note. For one, it stars Dolph Lundgren and martial arts sensation Scott Adkins in the lead roles, making this their 4th collaboration together. The film also marks the 6th movie that Dolph has directed after a 10-year absence from directing. This particular film was not the easiest of productions, as it was quickly shut down due to COVID just as it had commenced filming. Once production started back up, everyone had to adhere to a strict list of health protocols to make sure that everyone remained safe on set. Castle Falls tells the story of an abandoned hospital on the verge of being demolished and an unclaimed stash of millions that are wanted by 3 parties: a down-on-his-luck ex-MMA fighter played by Scott Adkins, a prison corrections officer with a sick daughter played by Dolph Lundgren, and a gang of deadly criminals. Kim DeLonghi plays Kat, the vicious accomplice to the leader of thieves, who lay siege not just to the hospital, but to the 2 heroes who form an unlikely alliance and hope to get out of the building with the cash before it explodes.
Skills? Degrees?
Did a bit of construction back in the UK between fights. Another.
You're in luck. They've been at it a week, but there's a couple days left.
He says she's strong enough to accept the transplant. She can't do any more chemotherapy. She's very sick now.
I got a proposition for you.
I'm sorry, I don't make deals with inmates.
Look, it's money in it for you.
How much? $3 million. Cash.
Everything's gonna be fine, don't worry.
$3 million in a building that's going to be dust inside 3 hours. Follow the guard. Find the money.
Stop!
How about your shot? I remember asking for your help, mate. wait till the whole place blows!
In addition to starring in Castle Falls, Kim also worked double duty, where she took on executive producing duties in the film, which she discusses in our conversation. We also discuss her other upcoming action-centered projects, including The Last Son, which is being released on December 10th, also produced by VMI Worldwide, and Banshee, starring Antonio Banderas and Jamie King. Please be sure to check out her website as well as follow her on Instagram at Kim DeLonghi Actor. So, for your listening pleasure, is my phone conversation with Kim DeLonghi on I Must Break This Podcast.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's an absolute pleasure getting to speak with you because, I mean, man, you have an exciting year coming up. I mean, you have two big movies that are slated for release here in a couple weeks. Is that right? You have Castle Falls and then The Last Son. Is that right, that are going to be coming out?
Oh, geez. You know what? I was also in Hawaii for 5 weeks shooting The Man-Eater. So that's going to be coming out. I'm actually leaving tomorrow to Barcelona. I'm shooting a Liam Neeson movie as well. It's called Marlowe. Lost on the Horizon.
Well, and before, because, I mean, it seems like obviously you are doing a lot within the action genre. But before we talk about many of those films, because I have quite a few questions regarding Castle Falls, but I was hoping you might be able to go back a bit. I was really curious to hear your story because I read online, and this is what I think is so cool, is that you're a mom, and you raised your children first, and then you really started getting heavily into the acting. Is that right?
Yeah, so I have three kids, 21, 19, and 15, 10 years old. I was like, okay, I need to start doing something with myself. I'm a very active person, and my brain just wasn't, satisfied just being a mom. So, so I started acting in Toronto for about 5 years, which was, commercials, little TV series. And then I became an executive producer. A mentor of mine, Kirk Shaw from Wonder Film, he invited me to go to the one market. And so I guess that's sort of when my career embarked in the Los Angeles. I got to meet some great producers, and I feel like Hollywood is, such a small little community, and everyone knows everyone. And so I feel lucky enough that I've met some people in the right positions that have been able to give me some great projects. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you've been diving headfirst into the action and thriller genres and, working on films and projects that I think we can both agree are fairly intense and serious. I mean, is it safe to say, are these genres that you really enjoy working in?
I do. I love the action part. Like working with Scott Adkins was amazing, and all there was literally professional boxers on set. Watching Dolph and his fighting scene, that was so exciting. Like the last scene in Castle Falls, it lasts about 7 minutes. It took 7 hours to film, and watching them fight was like a dance scene. Like it was absolutely beautiful. It was really exciting to watch. So yeah, that was definitely something new for me in Castle Falls, and that's I've just actually been offered something else too in that genre, so I'm really excited to continue with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's just get to it because I'm. Can I just say I am so stoked for Castle Falls. I mean, I remember hearing when at the project's announcement, not only that it was going to be starring Dolph Lundgren and Scott Adkins, but also that Dolph was going to be directing it as well. And so, yeah, I've been eagerly anticipating this movie. Tell me how this project came about.
So like I said, I went to the American Film Market and I met Andre from VMI Productions. And so yeah, they offered me the script and the role of Kat, which was, it's just at the time I'd done nothing like it. So it was really sort of exciting. She's this, tough, raunchy girl with a really sort of seedy past. And then Dolph directing it was amazing. He had his wife helping when she was on set. So she was sort of his eyes while he was in front of the camera. So they made a really great team together. She brought a lot of great things, I think, to the project.
Well, I mean, and you just said it. I mean, judging from the trailer and the production stills, I mean, you look to be playing a real badass in this one. I mean, it looks so cool. It looks like your character has this wicked scar on your face. I mean, I imagine that playing a role like this not only has to be fun, but really liberating in a sense, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, as a Canadian, I've never sort of even picked up a gun before. So that was exciting. And, them putting the airsoft in and, it was very liberating. It had a really great attitude towards it. So the role did. Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed playing that role. It was a lot of fun. One thing, though, was difficult because it was the dead of COVID, and we must have got shut down 3 times. And so the makeup and hair artist changed, almost on a daily basis. So that was sort of hard, the continuity of the scar and the makeup and, the hair. And so that was a shame with all the COVID scares. But so that was sort of daunting at times. It took a lot longer to make that movie than it should have.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that the production was shut down shortly after filming had commenced due to COVID, and then once filming picked back up, I imagine that there were all sorts of health protocols put in place. So I imagine that, that had to be really, really stressful at times, right?
Yeah, it was definitely because they were very strict about going out anywhere. So when we weren't on set, we really had to contain ourselves in Birmingham. So it would have been nice to explore a little, but I actually got COVID there too on the way home. I probably was there an extra 2 or 3 weeks than we should have been. So I was lucky enough to be able to drive back through the border when I'd been diagnosed with COVID, which I didn't know. So it's definitely a lot more difficult shooting a movie, the COVID protocols.
What was it like having Dolph on set? Because I imagine there had to be a bunch on his shoulders, okay? Because, he's one of the lead stars, but he's also the director, and he's having to adhere to all these health protocols in the midst of a pandemic. But I imagine it looks like everything was held together pretty smoothly, right?
Mm-hmm. No, Dolph's an amazing guy. Really, really smart, as I'm sure you know. He has a great background, an educational background. Really nice guy. As a director, I really enjoyed, every director's different, but because of COVID, so we started shooting this in November, and then we got shut down, and then brought the movie back up. And so during that time, he spent a lot of time on Zoom calls with us. He wrote my bio for the character, which was, really unheard of. Usually actors write their own bio. So we did a lot of rehearsing over Zoom, which was, he was really patient. And I actually think because we got shut down, we actually put more involvement with the characters. We got more background information. And so, Dolph was a great director. He really took the time and gave us a lot of, just good quality time in front of the camera. It was great.
Well, and did I read that you're also a producer on the film as well?
Yes, an executive producer.
Yeah. So, I mean, that has to be really cool because, I mean, okay, you're acting in film, but you're also producing it. So, I mean, does this probably allows you to see both sides of the production, right?
Yeah, it really does, actually. I enjoyed that. I enjoy that part of my job. During, whether the script's done or we can add on to it. And, yes, I definitely enjoy that portion of my job as well.
Now you're based out of Canada, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm just kind of wondering, because I've been watching a lot of these independent action movies for quite a while, and so I'm curious: are there huge differences between these Canadian productions compared to the typical American production, or do they pretty much in the end all work the same?
Yeah, I think they pretty much all work the same. I feel like the Toronto market it's a lot of commercials. So I've done a lot of commercials. I didn't do any movies. I did do The Handmaid's Tale in Hamilton. But other than that, it was these little TV series. So I'd say in the States, but I mean, my goodness, I feel like I've struggled with acting. Holy cow. it's a bigger production. When there's more money, there's, there's a lot more that goes on with that. So I guess I don't really know the difference between working in a movie in Toronto, I have to be honest.
Well, and speaking of action stars, I noticed that prior to Castle Falls, you worked in a Steven Seagal movie, Beyond the Law. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That was with DMX as well.
Yeah, that's right. Did you have any scenes? I'm trying to remember, but I'm trying to remember if you had any scenes with Steven Seagal in that one.
I didn't, actually. So half of that movie was shot in L.A. because DMX couldn't leave L.A. And the other half was shot. Steven Seagal was in, what was that country? Romania, because he couldn't leave Romania. So I just worked in L.A. with DMX. I didn't get to meet Seagal. Only, I think there was like 3 people that actually went to Romania to film with him.
Well, and you have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have another action picture. This is awesome because you're like a real Renaissance woman here. All of these different action movies, which is just, I think is so cool. But you have another one currently in post-production called Banshee alongside Antonio Banderas.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That was so exciting to do. I'm in a sort of another violent scene there with Jamie King. And it's the opening of the movie. So I'm very excited to see that one as well.
Are you able to tell us anything about your character? Are you playing another badass who hassles the lead in that one as well?
So I'm playing a sort of the head of the CIA, but it's they're contracted out by the CIA. And so Jamie King, her character, I'm coming in to tell her about her father, who's just gone sort of rogue, and she gets quite violent with me and threatens my life. So it's like I said, it's the opening of the movie. So yes, I'm really excited to see that one as well. That should be a good one.
Well, obviously you're very excited. I'm very excited as well because, like I said, judging by the trailer and the production stills, you clearly seem to be holding your own against, the likes of Dolph Lundgren and Scott Adkins. As fans of Dolph Lundgren and Scott Adkins, what can fans of these two action guys expect from Castle Falls?
Oh my gosh, a lot of fighting scenes. Like I said, it was so exciting to watch. It wasn't even just the two of them. My boyfriend, I'm drawing a blank now what his name was, but he's an amazing fighter. The last scene with him and Scott Adkins, the other crew, because I'm sort of like the head of these men, and all of them professional fighting. It was I was in awe watching. So lots of action, that's for sure. I can't say enough about it. It's going to be a great movie.
Well, you have to be excited. I know I'm excited. And then, like I said, The Last Son, which looks to be a Western of sorts, that's coming on, is it December 10th? Is that right?
Yes, December 10th. Yeah, we've got a premiere in New York for that next week, which I'm really excited to go to.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Like I said, I wanted to be respectful of your time, but it's been an absolute pleasure, not to mention an honor, and I'm looking forward to these films. It's kind of cool that I get to say that the lead villain in Dolph's upcoming movie I got to speak with, so thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.